welcome back from part 5. Anyways, let's continue about Twitter.
In 2009, Twitter was mainly used by older adults who might not have used other social sites before Twitter, said Jeremiah Alliang, an industry analyst studying social media.
Adults are just catching up to what teens have been doing for years, he said.
According to ComScore, only 11% of Twitter's users are aged 12 to 17.
ComScore attributed this to Twitter's early adopter period when the social network first gained popularity in business settings and news outlets attracting primarily older users.
However, ComScore also stated in 2009 that Twitter had begun to filter more into the mainstream, and along with it came a culture of celebrity as Shaq, Britney Spears and Ashton Kutcher joined the ranks of the Twitterati. According to a study by Sisomos in June 2009, women make up a slightly larger Twitter demographic than men, 53% over 47%.
It also stated that 5% of users accounted for 75% of all activity and that New York City has more Twitter users than other cities.
According to Quantcast, 27 million people in the U.S. used Twitter as of September 3, 2009.
63% of Twitter users are under 35 years old. 60% of Twitter users are Caucasian, but higher than average compared to other internet properties. These are African American/Black, 16%, and Hispanic, 11%. 58% of Twitter users have a total household income of at least $60,000.
The prevalence of African American Twitter usage and in many popular hashtags has been the subject of research studies. On September 7, 2011, Twitter announced that it had 100 million active users logging in at least once a month and 50 million active users every day. In an article published on January 6, 2012, Twitter was confirmed to be the biggest social media network in Japan, with Facebook following closely in second.
ComScore confirmed this, stating that Japan was the only country in the world where Twitter leads Facebook.
On March 31, 2014, Twitter announced there were 255 million monthly active users, MOS, and 198 million mobile MOS.
In 2013, there were over 100 million users actively using Twitter daily and about 500 million tweets every day, with about 29% of users checking Twitter multiple times a day.
In 2012, the country with the most active users on Twitter was the United States.
A 2016 Pew Research poll found that Twitter is used by 24% of all online U.S. adults.
It was equally popular with men and women, 24% and 25% of online Americans respectively, but more popular with younger, 36% of 18, 29-year-olds, generations. For the fiscal year 2017, Twitter reported losses of US $108 million, with an annual revenue of $2.443 billion, a decrease of 3.9% over the previous fiscal cycle.
Twitter shares traded at over $17 per share, and its market capitalization was valued at over US $25.6 billion in October 2018.
Twitter raised over US $57 million from venture capitalist growth funding, although exact figures are not publicly disclosed.
Twitter's first round of funding was for an undisclosed amount that is rumored to have been between US $1 million and US $5 million.
Its second D round of funding in 2008 was for US $22 million and its third C round of funding in 2009 was for US $35 million from institutional venture partners and benchmark capital, along with an undisclosed amount from other investors including Union Square Ventures, Spark Capital, and Insight Venture Partners.
Twitter is backed by Union Square Ventures, Digital Garage, Spark Capital, and Bezos Expeditions.
In May 2008, the industry standard remarked that Twitter's long-term viability is limited by a lack of revenue.
Twitter board member Todd Chaffee forecast that the company could profit from e-commerce, noting that users may want to buy items directly from Twitter since it already provides product recommendations and promotions.
By March 2009, communications consultant Bill Douglas predicted in an interview that Twitter would be worth $1 billion within 6 months, which came to pass when the company closed a financing round valuing it at $1 billion in September of that year. The company raised US $200 million in new venture capital in December 2010 at a valuation of approximately US $3.7 billion.
In March 2011, 35,000 Twitter shares sold for US $34.50 each on Post, an implied valuation of US $7.8 billion.
In August 2010, Twitter announced a significant investment led by Digital Sky Technologies that, at US $800 million, was reported to be the largest venture round in history. In December 2011, the Saudi Prince Al Walid bin Talal invested US $300 million in Twitter.
The company was valued at US $8.4 billion at the time.
In 2016, Twitter was valued by Forbes at US $15.7 billion. In July 2009, some of Twitter's revenue and user growth documents were published on TechCrunch after being illegally obtained by HackerCrow.
The documents projected 2009 revenues of US $400,000 in the third quarter and US $4 million in the fourth quarter, along with 25 million users by the end of the year.
The projections for the end of 2013 were US $1.54 billion in revenue, US $111 million in net earnings, and 1 billion users.
No information about how Twitter planned to achieve those numbers was published.
In response, Twitter co-founder Dick Stone published a blog post suggesting the possibility of legal action against the hacker. On April 13, 2010, Twitter announced plans to offer paid advertising for companies that would be able to purchase promoted tweets to appear in selective search results on the Twitter website, similar to Google AdWords advertising model.
As of April 13, Twitter announced it had already signed up a number of companies wishing to advertise, including Sony Pictures, Red Bull, Best Buy, and Starbucks.
The company generated US $45 million in annual revenue in 2010 after beginning sales midway through that year. The company operated at a loss through most of 2010. Users' photos can generate royalty-free revenue for Twitter, and an agreement with World Entertainment News Network, WENN, was announced in May 2011.
In June 2011, Twitter announced that it would offer small businesses a self-service advertising system.
Twitter generated US $139.5 million in advertising sales during 2011. The self-service advertising platform was launched in March 2012 to American Express card members and merchants in the US on an invite-only basis.
Twitter later reported that numerous small businesses and people who used the self-service tool provided feedback that indicated they were impressed by the feature.
campaign, Twitter announced on March 20, 2012, that promoted tweets would be introduced to mobile devices.
In April 2013, Twitter announced that its Twitter Ads self-service platform, consisting of promoted tweets and promoted accounts, was available to all U.S. users without an invite.
Twitter's financial revenue statistics for the first quarter of 2014 was reported as US $250 million. On August 3, 2016, Twitter launched Instant Unlock Card, a new feature that encourages people to tweet about a brand in order to earn rewards and utilize the social media network's conversational ads.
The format itself consists of images or videos, with call-to-action buttons and a customizable hashtag.
In October 2017, Twitter banned the Russian media outlets RT and Sputnik from advertising on their website following the conclusions of the U.S. National Intelligence Report the previous January that both Sputnik and RT have been used as vehicles for Russia's interference in the 2016 U.S. presidential election.
Maria Zakharova, for the Russian Foreign Ministry, said the ban was a gross violation by the U.S. of free speech.
In October 2019, Twitter announced it would stop running political ads on its ad platform effective 22 November.
This resulted from several spurious claims made by political ads.
Company CEO Dorsey clarified that internet advertising had great power and was extremely effective. For commercial advertisers, the power brings significant risks to politics, where crucial decisions impact millions of lives. Twitter places great reliance on open source software.
The Twitter web interface uses the Ruby on Rails framework, deployed on a performance-enhanced Ruby Enterprise Edition implementation of Ruby.
In the early days of Twitter, tweets were stored in MySQL databases that were temporarily sharded. Large databases were split based on time of posting.
After the huge volume of tweets coming in caused problems reading from and writing to these databases, the company decided that the system needed re-engineering.
From spring 2007 to 2008, the messages were handled by a Ruby persistent queue server called Starlin.
Since 2009, implementation has been gradually replaced with software written in Scala.
The switch from Ruby to Scala and the JVM has given Twitter a performance boost from 200 to 300 requests per second per host to around 10,000 to 20,000 requests per second per host.
This boost was greater than the 10x improvement that Twitter's engineers envisioned when starting the switch.
The continued development of Twitter has also involved a switch from monolithic development of a single app to an architecture where different services are built independently and joined through remote procedure calls. As of April 6, 2011, Twitter engineers confirmed that they had switched away from their Ruby on Rails search stack to a Java server they call Blender. Individual tweets are registered under unique IDs using software called Snowflake, and geolocation data is added using RockDove.
The URL shortener Tico then checks for a spam link and shortens the URL.
Next, the tweets are stored in a MySQL database using Gizzard, and the user receives an acknowledgement that the tweets were sent.
Tweets are then sent to search engines via the Firehose API.
The process is managed by FlockDB and takes an average of 350 ms. On August 16, 2013, Rafik Krikorian, Twitter's vice president of platform engineering, shared in a blog post that the company's infrastructure handled almost 143,000 tweets per second during that week, setting a new record.
Krikorian explained that Twitter achieved this record by blending its homegrown and open source technologies.
The Services Application Programming Interface, API, allows other web services and applications to integrate with Twitter. We will continue about Twitter in part 6, so stay tuned.